Assalamu alaikum class. I hope you all are doing well. Now this is the last lecture on IMNCI. As you know, we categorize the children into two categories. One was the age group between 2 months and 5 years of age, and next was the age group which was less than 2 months of age. Now we will continue with the management of the children who are less than 2 months of age and who come to the health facility with some medical problems. Now, as you can see in the chart in this slide, there is assessment, classification, and management of a sick young infant of age 1 week up to 2 months of age, or who has an age less than 2 months. Now, there are many similarities in the management of sick young infants, like those who have the age of 1 week up to 2 months, and children from the age group of 2 months up to 5 years. So some clinical signs are different in the infants than in the elder children. So we should make assessment about certain things, like we should be properly checking for the possible bacterial infection, or assessing the young infant if he has diarrhea, and checking the feeding problems or any problem regarding low weight, and checking the young infant's immunization status, and assessing any other problems. So when a caretaker or a mother brings infant to the health facility, according to IMNCI, clinical assessment should be made. Like you should look for any sort of convulsions, and you should ask the mother if the infant is having any sort of convulsions, or if the infant has difficulty in breathing, or convulsions is a difficult term, so you should talk in their language. So fits is another term which can be used. So you have to ask for these things, as I told you. And another is that you should look, listen, and feel for certain things, like you should look for fast breathing. As you know, the young infants usually breathe faster than the older children. Now, the breathing rate of a healthy young infant is more than 50 breaths per minute. So you should count the breathing of the infant, and if the count is 60 breaths or more, then the count should be repeated again, because the breathing rate of the young infant is often irregular. Now, if the second count is also 60 breaths or more, then the young infant is categorized as having fast breathing. Now, along with that, you have to see if there is severe chest indrawing, or if there is nasal flaring. Nasal flaring is that when the infant breathes in, and grunting is that a sound produced when the infant breathes out. Now, these are an indication of trouble in breathing, and possibly it can be pneumonia. So you also have to look for any bulging fontanelle when the infant is calm. You have to look for any skin pustules or redness of the umbilicus, or any pus draining from the umbilicus, and you have to look that the child is lethargic or unconscious, or is alert, or has less than normal movement. And most important, you have to check the temperature of the baby. Now, when looking, listening, and feeling all these things, then you have to classify the young infant. Now, if the infant has any one of the following signs, like if he has convulsions, or if he is not feeding well, or not feeding or any taking anything, or if there is fast breathing like 60 breaths per minute or more, or if there is severe chest indrawing, or he has fever or low body temperature, or only moves only when there is stimulated, or unconscious, or is no movement at all, now that is categorized as having very severe disease. And this falls into the pink category, and as I told you before in the lecture as well, that these infants should be urgently referred to the hospital. Now, not going to go into the detail as we have done it before as well. Now, second is if the umbilicus is red or is draining pus from the umbilicus or there are skin pustules, that falls into the yellow category. This shows that there is some local bacterial infection, so you have to give an appropriate oral antibiotic. You have to teach the mother to treat that infection at home, how to give that antibiotic, and to how to take care of the young infant, and you should tell the mother to come back for follow-up in 2 days. Now, if the infant doesn't have any severe disease or any local bacterial infection, so that falls into the green category. So you just have to advise the mother to take care of the child and to go home. Now, next in the infants, you have to look for jaundice. Now, while looking for jaundice, as you know, that's the yellow discoloration of the skin. So, when the mother brings the infant to the hospital with jaundice, you should ask the mother then when did she notice that there was yellow discoloration, and you should look for any yellow sclera or yellowing of the skin, and you should look at the palms and the soles of the infants if they are yellow, and then you have to classify jaundice. Now, if there is any jaundice, like if the age is less than 24 hours, or there is a yellow discoloration of the palms and soles at any age, now that is categorized as having severe jaundice, like there is severe yellow discoloration. Now that falls into the pink category and should be urgently referred to the hospital. Now the next is that the jaundice appears after 24 hours of age, and there is yellowish palms the palms and the soles are not yellow. So that is a simple jaundice. You should advise the mother to give home care for the young infant, to breastfeed the baby properly, and advise the mother to return immediately if the palms and the soles appear yellow. And if the young infant is older than 14 days, then refer to the hospital for further assessment. And you should advise the mother to come for follow-up if there is simple jaundice and there is no yellow discoloration of the palms and the sole. Now, if there is no jaundice, you should just counsel the mother and advise the mother to take care of the infant at home. Now, next is that the caretaker or the mother brings the young infant to the health facility with diarrhea. Now, here in the infants who are less than 2 months of age, you can't assess or classify dehydration on the basis, like as I told you in the older age group, that you have to assess the thirst by offering a drink to the child, or if the child is drinking properly or is refusing to drink or is eager to drink, so and you classify dehydration on that. So here it's a little bit different. Now when young infants come to the hospital with diarrhea, you have to look at the infant's general condition. You have to see whether the infant movement is generally on its own, or does the infant moves when it's stimulated, or does the infant does not move at all because of lethargy, or is the infant restless or irritable. So you have to look at these things to assess the movement of the infant. Then you have to look for the sunken eyes. I've told you in detail in the previous lectures how we can assess that. And you also have to look and feel about the pinch of the skin of the abdomen. Does it goes back very slowly, or normally? I'm not going to go into detail as we have done that before. And then you have to classify the diarrhea for dehydration. Now, If two of the following signs are present, like if the movement of the infant is only when stimulated, or the child is so lethargic that it cannot move at all, or has sunken eyes and skin pinch goes back very slowly, now this is categorized in the pink zone, and this is said as having severe dehydration. Now, if the infant has no other severe classification, give fluids for severe dehydration, you have to follow the plan C. We talked in detail about the plan C, or you have or if you have to assess the infant for any other severe classification and urgently refer that child to the hospital with the mother giving frequent sips of ORS on the way, and advise the mother to continue breastfeeding. And for severe dehydration, you urgently need to hospitalize the child. So this is how you are going to classify the severe dehydration. Now next comes that if two of the following signs are present, like if the baby is restless, irritable, has sunken eyes, and skin pinch goes back slowly, this falls into the yellow zone, as you can see in the form. So this is classified as having some dehydration. Here you give fluid and breast milk for some dehydration, and you follow the plan B. We did plan B in detail in the previous lectures. Now, if the infant has any severe classification other than this, you urgently need to refer the child to the hospital with the mother, advising her to give frequent sips of ORS on the way and to continue breastfeeding. Now, if there is no any severe classification, just some dehydration, you advise the mother when to return immediately, and to advise her follow up in 2 days if the condition is not improving. Now this is about some dehydration. Now if there is diarrhea which lasts for 14 days or more, and there is severe persistent diarrhea in these type of infections, you have to assess the child, and it's important that you have to look for any other possible serious bacterial infections, like any swelling on the umbilicus and all that, to assess neonatal tetanus, or you have to look for any significant jaundice and then refer that child to the hospital, and that also falls into the pink zone. Now next is if there is blood in the stool, that is dysentery. Now that is also need to be urgently referred to the hospital. So this is all about the young infant who comes to the hospital with the complaint of diarrhea. Now next is that the caretaker or the mother brings the infant to the health facility with some feeding problem or low weight. When an infant is brought to the hospital with some problem with the feeding problem or any low weight problem, you have to determine the weight for age, and the assessment is same as I told you before in the elder children. Now next is you have to assess the feeding of the baby. In this you have to ask three questions, that you have to ask about the breastfeeding frequency, and if there any other complementary food or like fluid, like in rural areas they give water along with that. So if that infant is receiving any other feed along with breastfeeding, and if it's receiving, what type of fluid is being given, and what are the feeding patterns of that infant during this illness. So you have to ask all these questions, and then you determine the weight for age of the child, and you look for the ulcers or white patches in the mouth, which usually tells about the oral thrush, and then you have to classify the feeding. Now, when classifying the feeding, you first see that if the child is not well attached to the breast, or is not suckling effectively, or less than 8 hours breastfeeding in 24 hours, or receive any other drinks like plain water, or any other sort of milk, like cow's milk is sometimes mixed with water and is given in the rural area, or if there is oral thrush like a white patches in the mouth, then that is the weight of the child is less on calculation. Now that is considered in the yellow zone, and that is considered as a feeding problem, or a child is having a low weight problem. Now in this condition, if the child is not attached or is not suckling effectively, teach the correct method of positioning and attachment of the child for breastfeeding. And if the child is breastfeeding less than 8 times in the 24 hours, you have to advise the mother to increase the frequency of feeding, and to advise the mother to offer breastfeed on demand of the child in morning, as in the daytime as well as at the night. Now, if the child is receiving any other drinks, you have to counsel the mother about breastfeeding more and reducing the other drink. They should be told that they should not give anything. Exclusive breastfeeding is recommended by WHO till the 6 months. Now, if the mother is not breastfeeding at all, then you refer for the breastfeeding counseling. You have to tell her that breastfeeding is very important and what are the benefits, and you have to advise her how to properly breastfeed the child. Now, if the child is not having any other issue, or if there is no oral thrush, you have to teach the mother to take care of the child at home, or if there is any any other complication along with these problems, then only the child needs to be hospitalized. Otherwise, this all falls into the yellow zone, as you can see in the form as well, which is shown in this slide. So you just have to counsel the mother, advise the mother to give proper breastfeeding, and to come for follow up if there is any other problem, and to assess the proper the weight of the baby according to the growth chart. So follow up is very important in this thing, and you just need counseling. And if there is no low weight for age or any other sign of inadequate feeding, that falls into the green category. This means that there is no feeding problem. You just have to counsel the mother, and you just need to advise the mother to take the baby home and to give proper home care to the baby. Now, whoever brings the sick child to the hospital with any complaints, you have to assess the immunization status of that baby. You have to ask the mother that if the child is being vaccinated according to the EPI schedule, and you have to check this immunization status. Now, if the vaccination is not being done, you have to counsel the mother that it is very important for the child to get vaccinated. Now, this is all about the IMNCI program, which is being run in Pakistan, and in Punjab it has been merged with the reproductive health program. So this is all that you should know about the IMNCI program, and in the exam you can get an SEQ, you can get multiple MCQs, and also you can get an OSPI from the IMNCI. So if you have any other questions regarding the lecture or IMNCI, you are most welcome to ask. Thank you so much.